What if your worst moment of public humiliation became the key to unimaginable power? For 24-year-old Chloe Hayes, a waitress drowning in debt, it all started with a single act of cruelty from billionaire businessman Damian Sterling. It should have broken her, but what happened the next morning wasn't just unbelievable, it was impossible. This isn't a fairy tale. This is how a thrown menu led to a name on a deed, a waitress taking on a titan, and a battle for $1 billion empire fought not in boardrooms, but in the heart of a woman who had nothing left to lose. Where are you watching from? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more exciting stories. The air in Aria, an exclusive restaurant in the heart of New York, was thick with wealth and power, a place for the city's elite to dine under the watchful eyes of a flawless staff. The scent of truffle oil hung in the air as Chloe Hayes, on her 10th hour of a double shift, moved through the sea of clinking glasses and whispered conversations. Her feet ached, her mind racing through the mountain of bills piling up at home, most of them for her younger sister Mia, who battled with juvenile rheumatoid arthritis. Every smile she gave to the customers was a mask, a calculated move in an endless game of survival. Tonight, the tension was palpable, thicker than usual, because Sterling was coming. Damian Sterling wasn't just another rich guy, he was a force of nature, a titan who had built a real estate empire by his late 20s. His reputation in the city was legendary, but for reasons far more ominous than just his wealth. Known for his ruthless temper and cold demeanor, Damian commanded a level of respect, one Chloe had learned the hard way, having served him on numerous occasions. This night, he walked into Aria, his presence almost tangible. As he moved through the restaurant, a silent chill spread. His cold, icy blue eyes never left his phone, his demeanor unreadable, except for the fury that simmered beneath his composed exterior. Chloe's heart raced as her manager, Mr. Henderson, whispered to her, "He's yours. Just be perfect." Perfect. The word mocked her, the pressure weighing heavier than the fatigue in her bones. She steadied her breath, smoothing out her apron, and walked towards him, trying to ignore the tightness in her chest. "Good evening, Mr. Sterling. Welcome to Aria," she said, her voice trembling only slightly. Damian didn't look up. He was lost in his phone, angrily scrolling. "Whiskey Macallan, 25, neat. Don't drown it," he said, his tone icy and dismissive. She placed the menu before him, and as she poured his water, exhaustion took its toll. Her wrist gave way slightly, spilling a drop of water on his phone. The world seemed to freeze. Damian's gaze snapped up, his eyes locking with hers. "Are you incompetent?" His voice was low, dangerous, and cold enough to freeze the room. Chloe's heart stopped, but she managed, "I'm so sorry, sir. It was an accident." An accident is when a child makes a mistake. You're an adult working in a high-end restaurant. This isn't an accident. It's a failure. The venom in his voice was a slap in the face. He grabbed the menu and in one swift motion threw it at her feet. The sound of it hitting the marble floor was deafening. The silence in the room was suffocating as he turned back to his phone, dismissing her completely. "Get out of my sight. Send someone who knows how to do their job." Chloe stood frozen, her heart pounding in her chest. Her face burned with shame, but something inside her broke, finally, irrevocably. The tears that burned behind her eyes were not from humiliation, but from the realization that she couldn't keep pretending, not anymore. With shaking hands, she untied her apron, folded it neatly, and placed it on a nearby chair. Then, without a word, she walked away. She didn't look back as she passed her shocked coworkers, past Mr. Henderson, who was still gesturing for her to apologize, to fix things. Chloe walked out of Aria, out of Sterling Tower, and into the cool New York night, leaving the job and her humiliation behind. She didn't know what she would do next, but she knew this: she would rather starve than be treated as less than human again. The next morning, the righteous anger that had propelled her out of the restaurant now twisted into something far less certain. Chloe woke up on her sofa bed, the hum of the city outside reminding her of the crushing reality that awaited her. Rent bills, medical expenses for Mia. Walking out on her job had felt empowering, but reality hit hard. The world hadn't changed, the bills were still there. She spent the morning scrolling through job listings, her stomach in knots. She couldn't face another job that would trap her in the same cycle. Just after 10 a.m., her phone buzzed with an unknown number. She almost ignored it, assuming it was just another recruiter offering a dead-end job. But something, desperation maybe, made her pick up. "Is this Chloe Hayes?" a man's voice asked, crisp and professional. "Yes, this is she," Chloe replied, wary. "This is Arthur Vance, senior partner at Vance Sterling & Croft Legal. I'm calling on behalf of my client, Mr. Damian Sterling." Chloe's blood ran cold. She half expected a lawsuit, but Arthur's next words threw her completely off balance. "Mr. Sterling would like to arrange a meeting with you at your earliest convenience. This is a matter of great urgency," he said. A meeting? Chloe's mind spun. What could this be about? She was almost certain it had to do with the incident at Aria, but it didn't make sense. Why would he want to meet her now? "I can be ready in an hour," she replied, feeling detached from reality. An hour later, a sleek black Lincoln pulled up to her building. The driver, a stone-faced man in a suit, opened the door for her. Sliding into the plush leather seat, Chloe couldn't help but feel like she was entering a different world. The car didn't head toward the Sterling Tower, but instead toward a prestigious address on Park Avenue. The law offices of Vance, Sterling & Croft. Inside, Arthur Vance greeted her with professionalism, not condescension. He led her into a large conference room with a breathtaking view of Central Park. "Please, have a seat," he said, gesturing to a mahogany table. "Water, Miss Hayes?" he asked, pouring a glass for her. Chloe was still in shock, but nodded. She took the glass, her voice shaky. "Water is fine." "Mr. Sterling has instructed me to offer you a proposition," Arthur began, his voice steady and clipped. "Last night's behavior was, by his own admission, unacceptable. It was a result of significant stress from a sabotaged acquisition." He paused, watching Chloe closely. "But the truth is, your reaction, Miss Hayes, impressed him. It was not weakness he saw in you. It was integrity, a refusal to be devalued." Chloe blinked. This wasn't what she expected. Integrity? She had walked out of the restaurant, humiliated. How could that be integrity? Arthur continued, "As a gesture of apology, Mr. Sterling would like to execute a transaction." He opened a thick portfolio and slid a sheet of paper across the table. "This is the quitclaim deed. The Sterling Tower is now legally in your name." Chloe stared at the document, disbelief washing over her. "I don't understand. This is a joke, right?" Arthur leaned back. "As of 9:15 this morning, the ownership deed for the Sterling Tower building is yours. Congratulations, Miss Hayes. You are a billionaire." Her head spun. How was this possible? Why would Damian Sterling, who had humiliated her so thoroughly, give her a building, a skyscraper? It didn't make sense. "Why?" she asked, her voice barely a whisper. "Why would he do this?" Arthur's expression softened slightly. "Because Mr. Sterling's greatest asset, the Sterling Tower, is under threat. And you, well, you are the one thing his rival didn't account for. He couldn't hide the asset in a shell company. He couldn't trust family. But you are the perfect ghost owner, and he needs your help." Chloe's stomach churned. She wasn't a player in a corporate game. She was a pawn.